Hey, what's going on? And welcome back to the Rockman Power Hour. We're going to give you a bite-sized edition right now, and I'm excited about this one. It kind of came together at the last minute, and this is one that, for me personally, is a huge deal because I've been a fan of this guy's work ever since I can remember. If you know movies like The Warriors, 48 Hours, Another 48 Hours, Extreme Prejudice, Alien, this guy has been there, done that, and bought the T-shirt. And he's got a brand new movie now called Dead for a Dollar, and his name is Walter Hill, and we've got him right now on the Rockman Power Hour. All right, we are so excited for this week to be joined by Walter Hill, one of the greatest directors in modern cinema, at least in my eyes. I think he's an absolute talent, an absolute tour de force, and this guy has done so many amazing movies. But I want to bring in my co-host, Ryan Stick, to talk about this really quick. Ryan, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. I like how you said before, done it all and bought the T-shirt, and today I'm rocking some news from Studio House Designs. It's
love
amazing hacker shirt.
Yeah.
And you got to appreciate the little details, like mess with the best and die like the rest.
Yeah,
Some
of the best designs when it comes to shirts ever. I do not have a Studio House Design shirt on today, and the reason why. And I love Studio House. You know that. I'm always wearing their stuff. But I had to wear this because I was talking to Walter Hill.
Nice. Let's get close up to that.
Yeah. Now, you got to see his reaction when he saw that. And that was from a friend of mine, a buddy of mine named Dave, who has a company called Direct Tees. And, well, let's just say we got to try to get Walter one because he seemed pretty impressed. He's like, where did you find that? Anyways, I don't want to give anything away. But Ryan, you know how big of a fan I am of the Warriors.
Very big.
Walter is the guy that brought the Warriors to the big screen, adapted it from the novel, and he's just a really important director in modern cinema. He's 81 years old and he's still doing it. Dead for a Dollar is a phenomenal Western, and like he mentions, it's on a shoestring budget, and it's going to be part of the Festival de Nouveau Cinema that's happening in Montreal. The reason why we're rushing to get this up is because Walter was supposed to come to Montreal and do these interviews in person. And as he says, he had a bit of health issues and he wasn't able to come to Montreal, but we were able to do this on Zoom. So this is an absolute treat. If you're a fan of movies, if you're a fan of Nick Nolte, he's done tons of movies with Nick Nolte, Eddie Murphy, the guys, did The Warriors, and now he's working with an all-star cast like Willem Dafoe, Benjamin Bratt's in this movie, and the list goes on and on and on. It's just a great film shot on a shoestring budget, but it doesn't feel like it. And it harkens back to old school Westerns when men were men. And they had they had scores to settle. They would settle them with guns and card games. So definitely, I hope you enjoy this little chat that we had with Walter Hill, director of Dead for a Dollar. You weren't feeling well, I guess, right?
Well, I had an attack of sciatica.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And I was down for the count, it seemed. I was bedridden for a couple of days, and more or less. And they told me I couldn't fly and all that. And it wasn't really possible to get to the airport and
right.
All the business. They put me on what they call Metapack.
Okay. Yep.
And it's basically steroids. You take 6 or 7 the first day.
Yeah.
6 the next day, 5 the next, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I've just completed the treatment, and I am much better.
Oh, you sound great. You sound great.
Yeah, well, I always sounded okay, but my back was killing me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's no joke that.
I do sincerely. I don't know. I'm very sorry I didn't get to go. I very much wanted to go, and
of course.
I hate to let anybody down. And I've spent so little time in Montreal. I have been there.
Yeah.
I thought this would really be a terrific opportunity for me to get to know the place a little better. And it's such a beautiful city.
It really truly is. And you know what? We'll just get you there next time. It's okay.
Okay. Well, yeah. Again, I'm very sorry. I really hate to say I'll do something and then not come through for people. And I know they had arranged things.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. People were excited. But you know what? I'm really appreciative that we were able to chat today. And I'm someone who's been a fan of your work for a long, long time. One of my best friends actually is a Steckloff. Her name is Shannon Steckloff, and her grandparents are Herb and Anita. So she lives in Los Angeles, and I used to live with her in Santa Monica years ago. So we've always talked about your work, and she knew that I was a big fan. So when the opportunity came to chat with you about Dead for a Dollar, I jumped at it because, again, been a fan of your work for a long, long time. I wore a special T-shirt in honor of the Warriors.
Hey. Where the hell did you get that?
The internet is a crazy place. I'll get you one though if you want. But you know, it's just great to watch your new movie and see that, you know, your chops are still really sharp. I mean, you don't look like you're resting on your laurels. You're still in there getting your hands dirty.
Well, I'm happy to hear you say that. I don't know. It's a funny thing. I'm an old man. You cross the line at 80, it forces you to pause and think. In first place, so many of the people that you came up the trail with are no longer there.
Of course.
That's one thing you have to think about. And almost nobody is still working. But despite my recent bout of sciatica, I really do feel good, and I feel like I can still do it. You know, it's one of those things. I'm not sure that, examining your own capacities is. I mean, other people are supposed to do that rather than. But I do feel like I'm in full control of my instrument, as the actors say. And,
sure.
And I think that I'm probably as capable as I ever was mentally. And so I intend to, you never know when the last one is. It's people ask you, when are you going to retire? And I explain that directors never retire. I've known a lot of old directors. They were always looking to do another movie. The truth is, you're kind of like a ball player. At some point, they come and take your uniform away, and you go home. And so far, I still got my uniform. So.
Well, and it's funny because that wouldn't even be a question for me. Is this your last movie? I mean, I'm just happy that you have a new movie, and it's great. I mean, I got a chance to sit with it. I thought it reminded me of Westerns from days gone by. Just the coloring of the movie, the scaling of the movie, the shots, the sets, everything brought me back to old school Westerns. And it was really, really fun to sit with those characters for a bit and go on that journey.
Well, I'm pleased to hear your review. That's, I said, it is a low budget. We made it very quickly. I wrote it. We were able to put together really an excellent cast.
Oh yeah. I mean, excellent is, it really is. It's a who's who of Hollywood greats, especially with Defoe and Christoph. I mean, just brilliant.
Yeah. My task was to make it one of my tasks. I mean, beyond just telling the story, but how you tell the story is critical as well. And I wanted to give it as much size as I could within our limited circumstances.
Sure.
Again, other people are best to say whether that was accomplished. I do think that the movie is a throwback. I've always admired in Westerns, classic Westerns, the kind of, I call it the elegant simplicity that they're presented in, which kind of masks and envelopes deep issues. And what, of course, distinguishes Westerns, I mean, other than the kind of mythopoetic overtones of it all in American history and all that, I think that it's the characters have to rely on their own resources and solve their own problems rather than the law and order will be weak.
Yeah.
And the army's usually a distance away. Whatever the problems are, you're probably going to have to figure out a way to solve them yourself, which brings out the best in people. Hopefully.
Yeah.
The people say to you, well, it must be nice dealing with, just the physical circumstances, but dealing with the kind of that period in history. And it is. I mean, the physical circumstances are, you're out there with the horses and, guys with big hats, and the cast are usually very enthusiastic when they're making a Western.
Yeah.
We don't get a chance to do it very often. And you're out in the middle of nowhere, so it bands you together even better.
Yeah.
And you're not fighting the city. You're not fighting where to park the trucks, or
Sure.
Can we get permission to block this street, or that kind of stuff. So you own the place, and it's usually beautiful country or interesting country. So in that sense, they're an enjoyable experience. But I think, that ultimately, and in the deepest way, you're kind of walking around in the Old Testament. These are these are kind of Old Testament stories.
Of course,
the oldest stories we know, but at the same time, absolutely relevant.
Right. Well, and I think that when you're asking characters to rely on their moral compasses and seeing how everybody's moral compass is a little bit different. And I think what's great about this movie is there's some classic elements, but there's a lot of stuff that's very relevant today. And when we start off on this journey with the characters, we think that our character who's been assigned the task to go retrieve someone. It seems like a cut and dry story. Like, this woman's been abducted. She's got to be brought back. The husband's offering this amount of money. But as you go along the journey, you realize that there's a lot more shades to this story than just black and white. And I think that's what makes it interesting.
Well, that was the design. It to have a simple opening, two guys that really are sworn enemies, and then the assignment of a task of a mercenary, and then the task turns out to be not what one expected, and the two antagonists turn out to have turns of character that are somewhat unexpected too. There's a grace note to the Joe Cribbins, Willem Dafoe fella, and there are many a tricky turn with Max Borland, our bounty hunter, and who brings not the usual. I mean, he brings a European sensibility to the drama, and I don't mean just the casting the actor. I mean, by design, the character was meant to be an immigrant.
Right. Yeah. Now they're telling me I have a couple minutes left. I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the Warriors. A massive fan of the Warriors. To me, it's one of my, you're laughing, but it's one of the best movies ever made. And total opposite, when you're talking about trying to find, here you're open wide spaces, there you're trying to work in the confines of the city. How do you feel when you get a guy like me who tells you how much he loves the Warriors? I see a chuckle. Is it still fond memories for you?
Oh, sure. I mean, look, it's very flattering that somebody remembers something you did 40 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And remembers it with pleasure. I had I would say this, I don't know, I'm not good about counting these things up. I think I've done over 20 films and a few television things, not too many, but of all but when people come up to me, and as they do, especially in Europe, and less so here, but are you Walter Hill? And my first response is always, does he owe you money? And but almost inevitably, they want to talk about the Warriors. I get asked about the Warriors much more than any film I've ever done.
Yeah. Well, it's an incredible movie. You've had an incredible career, and I'm so happy that, here we are in 2022 and we have a new Walter Hill movie. I'm grateful for it. And I'm really glad I got a chance to chat with you today, and I hope we get to see you in Montreal soon, and continued success, and just keep keep doing what you do because you bring a lot of joy to people like me.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for taking the time.
That was a really tasty interview, Jason. Almost as tasty as our sponsor, Heartbeat Hot Sauce, that we didn't mention in the intro, but we're going to mention now.
Yeah, we love Heartbeat. Now I know we're both kind of like nomads this week. We're both nomadic because I am in another space right now. I'm not working where I normally would work. You're in another space, but through the joy of technology, we're still able to do this, which is beautiful. But I don't have any Heartbeat hot sauce.
We cannot escape each other.
Do you have Heartbeat hot sauce with you?
Well, I would, but I'll be gone for an awkwardly long pause, which with the magic of digital editing will seem seamless.
And I'm going to snap my fingers and Ryan's going to come back. Boom. There you go. Look at that. Heartbeat hot sauce instantly appearing before you. Those are actually two of my favorites. Is that the dill pickle serrano?
Yeah.
And that is don't.
No, it's the red habanero, which is Melissa and I's favorite.
Yeah.
And of course, like the jalapeno.
Oh yes, both of those are great.
I would not recommend doing this, ladies and gentlemen.
No, don't, Ryan, don't do it. Oh God,
Jason, I had to. In the spirit of Walter Hill, I want to show you I'm a warrior. And in another 48 hours, I will regret this decision immensely.
We'd like to thank Heartbeat Hot Sauce. We'd like to thank Walter Hill for being our guest today. And thank you for joining us here on the Rockman Power Bite Size Edition. Our next episode is going to blow you away. Don't you forget about it.
Don't forget about me, Jason.
I won't. I couldn't.
Because I got the tension. I got the tension, and I might, might have to fist pump the sunset at the end of it.
All right. We know who's coming on the show next week.
You would think so, but sometimes people really need, unless they're Marvel fans, people need a lot of hints.
True. Very, very true. All right. We'll see you next week on the Rockman Power Hour.